Hello.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I went to the wrong meeting.
No problem. Okay, I think we should start.
Okay. So is that this is just internal, right?
No, it's actually like also live stream on X and our community as well.
Oh, it's a live stream. Okay.
It's a live stream.
All right.
All right. Let me see my screen. Okay. Guess you can see my screen now.
Yep.
We're good. Okay. All right. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the OpenGuild Community Core. And really happy to have Seraya from the Web3 Foundation here. That we learn about like the brand ecosystem of like Polkadot. So the topic that we're gonna talk about today, we have like the fueling the Polkadot futures inside the Web3 Foundation brand. And my team also like suffer from like a lot of also suffer and also explore a lot of like brand ecosystem in Polkadot. Even like OpenGuild is also like funded by the Polkadot Treasury, and we learn a lot about the RAN ecosystem in Polkadot. But for, like from my perspective, like Web2 Foundation RAN, has a very smooth process to review and also like, approve the applicants. So today we're gonna learn about that, and also like ask the people who are interested in Polkadot and building on Polkadot how you can like, apply to the Web2 Foundation RAN. So today we also like, have the features from the Seraya. So Seraya, do you want to say hi and introduce a bit about yourself?
Yeah. So hi everybody. For those who don't know me, I am Seraya. I've been with the Web3 Foundation for 3.5 years, and I started off as a technical grants evaluator, so mostly focusing on the grants program, evaluating proposals, evaluating deliveries. And then for the past like 1.5 years, the focus has slightly shifted towards also non-technical projects, also educating people and raise awareness of the programs that we have here at the foundation. And also, I changed focus a couple of months ago to become the ecosystem success manager. That means I'm in touch with a lot of teams that already have some kind of a track record within the ecosystem that delivered something in the past, and I'm trying to figure out how we can help them, and hopefully that's gonna be very helpful for them. And yeah, that's I think that's pretty much sums it up about me.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great introduction. So before we dive deep into like the RAN ecosystem, now we're gonna learn a bit about OpenGuild, so like ecosystem update of what we have in like the past 2 weeks. So a bit about the agenda for today. First, I'm gonna like introduce a bit about OpenQueue and also like the ecosystem update. Then we're gonna have a new DevRel from OpenQueue who just onboarded to the team, and I would love like to give him like around like 10 minutes to introduce a bit about himself so that the community gonna like, get familiar with him. So his name is Daniel. We're gonna like meet him later. And then like later, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. And if you have any slide or like any presentation that you would love to share to the community about like, the brands and also the process to apply to the brands, that would be like perfect. Yeah. Okay. So about OpenGuild, for anyone who are not familiar with OpenGuild yet, so we the open community driven by the Web3 builders, elevating the builders on Polkadot. So OpenGuild is already like operate in the Southeast Asia market for around like more than 1 years and a half. And we are a community of Web3 builders like who contribute to the open source project, learn and connect enthusiasts together with a focus on like expanding the Polkadot ecosystem. So for OpenGuild, like right now, we have like two main websites that we just launched like around like 2 months ago. They are called Builder Resource that like where like every builders can go to and submit like your ideas, your resources for the building on Polkadot, and you can visit the site as like build.openguild.wtf. And the other site that I really love is like the learn.openguild.wtf, which is like the Polkadot education hub. And we're gonna like have the bootcamp series running like for the whole like, APAC market to help builders to learn about like Polkadot 2.0 in around like 1 month. And we're gonna use this platform, the Polkadot Education Hub, to distribute like all the resources and materials for the learner to learn about like Polkadot 2.0. So if you haven't like visited the site yet, so feel free to go to the site, learn the OpenGuild W3F, and you're gonna can find like all the resources like courses, bootcamp, workshop, videos, and learning pad. This not only like from OpenGuild, but it's also like from Polkadot ecosystem in general and from like the partners of OpenGuild. So a bit about like the Polkadot ecosystem update. Mimir, Mimir are a team behind like, a lot of raised applications for multi-sig on Polkadot already like implemented a new features called like multi-transfer, and now like user can now like send multiple tokens to like multiple addresses in a single streamlined operations. So this enhanced like UX tremendously. And spoiler, cross like they implement like the new feature called like cross-chain swap of VDOT to like BNB and Ethereum ethers like from like Ethereum, Arbitrum, and Base are now supported thanks to an integration with a hybrid and also like Swap, which is like a great collaboration between like application in Polkadot and also like application outside Polkadot. Polkadot also released like a new news. I don't think like it's a good news, but yeah, like Polkadot is now sunsetting and sunrising with a new branding called like chaotic. And OneBlock is currently looking for a teaching assistant for its like Solidity native on Polkadot course to also like prepare for the Polkadot 2.0 launch. So if you're interested in the role, you can like apply the position on OneBlock. And a bit about OpenGuild, so we're gonna host a Polkadot brunch side event on like August 23rd with the seller, and also like catch up with like the BBA Bali. So like if you come to BBA in Bali, if you're a student or like you an instructor and you want to discuss something with an OpenGuild team, feel free to meet Chris and also like a few other like, OpenGuild members who are gonna be in Bali. And lastly, like we have like the newsletter published, like these brand new things from OpenGuild. We basically like a whole team gather everything that we know about the Polkadot ecosystem in like a month, like which is a monthly newsletter. We gather all the informations from OpenGuild, from Polkadot, and then we patch them in like one email. So like if you subscribe to our newsletter, you're gonna receive like a newsletter every month to get you updated with the Polkadot ecosystem. So if you're not joining, if you haven't been a member of OpenGuild yet, so feel free to scan the QR code and be a member of OpenGuild. Okay, and I think that's the end of the introduction for OpenGuild, and would love like to see like more members joining the community. So now I'm gonna like give the mic back to Daniel for him to introduce a bit about himself. Daniel is a really great DevRel, and I would love like him to have like some spotlight in like to the community call as well. So hello, Daniel.
Yeah, hi Tin. Thank you so much for having me. Can you all hear me clearly? Just wanted to make sure my mic is working properly.
Yeah, perfect.
Fantastic. Yeah, my name is Daniel. I am the new DevRel for Polkadot APAC, working with OpenGuild. It's a very big pleasure to be here. I came actually from a background of DevRel in EVM L2. So, previously when I thought about DevRel for Polkadot, I thought I have to go back to school and have to go and learn how Substrate and Kusama works. And I thought, wow, it's going to be very, very stressful to do that. But right now, what happened is that I think not enough people know about the development and the exciting stuff coming to Polkadot 2.0. So, once I read about Polkadot 2.0, I got very excited myself, and I'm very glad to be part of the journey as Polkadot moves towards Polkadot 2.0. So as for my background, I actually didn't come from computer science or anything. I used to be a journalist. I was an award-winning journalist in Malaysia for 7 years. I'm based out of Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. And one of the things that I focused on as a journalist is handling misinformation, handling communication effectively to people. And I think Polkadot needs communicators who can really get the message about what Polkadot 2.0 is out. Because right now, a lot of people see any chain outside of Ethereum as a direct competitor to the network and also to Web3 as a whole. And I think it's generally the reputation we get from most other L1s out there. But Polkadot 2.0, what I'm really excited about is that it actually embraces Ethereum on a whole new level. It embraces the development, all the work that's gone into Solidity, into Viper, into all the different tooling that's made Ethereum what it is today, and it's trying to catalyze it by not leaving a part of Web3 behind. Because if we're all here to build together, then I think that's what the spirit of Polkadot 2.0 is about. So yeah, once again, really, really happy to be part of the team. I'm really excited to work with OpenGuild and Polkadot moving forward. So thanks for this opportunity, Tin.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Quick question, like what you gonna like do
Sure.
in like the near futures like around like OpenGuild, so like Polkadot, what you gonna like, what's your main focus?
My main focus right now is actually even on my own, learning about the new advancements. So Polkadot 2.0 is moving so fast. It's every week there's something new, and even in the update just now, I've got things to actually go and read up on right after this call. So keeping up with this, I want to put it. I'm trying to package this information into a way that appeals to a lot more to the people I used to work with in the EVM ecosystem in Ethereum. So to be able to package Polkadot 2.0's exciting new developments that embrace Ethereum and help present this to especially developers coming from the Ethereum side, those who are frustrated with perhaps the current ecosystem of 1,000,001 L2s and maybe a new L2 just launched 5 minutes ago and we don't know about it. So, we have, some frustration in the Ethereum side of Web3 right now. Perhaps I'm trying to, see how Polkadot can embrace this, see how it can, provide a viable solution to this. And of course, the content I'll be working on mostly in the short term right now is to focus on trying to present this in a way that Ethereum developers can understand, and also because Polkadot is still what do you call it, risk V chain at the heart. So because of that, people who have programmed on Rust as well.
So right now until like the Polkadot 2.0 launch, and also like at the end of the year, we're gonna have around like 4 months. So what's your like, expectations for the upcoming 4 months in the Polkadot ecosystem? What's like the most interesting things that you would love to see?
Number one thing is, of course, Polkadot Hub. The Polkadot Hub being that great interface into because all the times when we think about NFTs, we think ERC721, ERC1155, we think about ERC20 when it comes to assets. So now, it's not like we have to throw all this information out and take on a new type of standard that we don't know. So, Polkadot Hub, I think, is the big bridge. I don't like to use the word bridge. That's not actually the correct term in this case. It's the big connector that Web3 needs right now. And that's one of the biggest things I'm most excited about. The other one is, of course, I've been exposed to documentation about Polkadot Jam, and that is something that is very exciting as well. I am reading up so much on this, getting to know the ecosystem in so many more different ways. As somebody who was a Parity user back when Parity was an Ethereum client for my laptop, back when Ethereum can fit on a laptop, it feels like a grand homecoming. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, again, like really thank you, to have you here, and also like to have you as the team members of OpenGuild. So I would love like to have you in another like community call for us like to discuss more about like, your view around like all the Polkadot ecosystem. But yeah, again, yeah, thank you for your introductions. And I think I'm gonna like, give the mic back to Seraya for us to discuss more about like the Ren ecosystem. And again, like, thank you.
No problem. Seraya, real pleasure to meet you. You're doing amazing work in Web3.
Yeah.
Likewise. Thanks a lot for your introduction. And very good to have Ethereum people here on Polkadot as well. And I really explore the synergies that like how we can work more together rather than working in isolation, right? So I'm really excited about that as well, about the direction we're going. Tin, what exactly you want me to talk about?
Yeah, actually, I also prepare a list of questions that I'm gonna talk. But like first,
Okay, great.
I would love it to see maybe like a lot of builders in Polkadot, they're not familiar with like the rents yet. So like if you have any kind of presentations or basically just share screen to go through like the process of the rents or like list out like some of the common brands that you are currently like managing, that would be very helpful. And then like I'm gonna repair a list of questions that I'm gonna like, ask you to have a better insight or the rent. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, maybe let me share my I would just show the webpage because I didn't really I wasn't aware that I have to present, so I didn't prepare anything. But let me share. Where's the share button here on Zoom? Share here. Yeah. Here we go. So wait, maybe let's focus on this. Oh no, that was the wrong one. Shit.
It's okay. Once we
Okay.
go Web3, we forget how Web2 works.
Yeah. So generally, you go to grants.web3 Foundation and you will find all the information needed, right? So here you can find out how you can apply. And by the way, these are all markdown documents that are located in the GitHub repository. So the whole process is going to be happening on GitHub actually. But yeah, here you can find all the introduction. And basically you will have to first fork the grants repository. So I'm not going to do it obviously, but yeah, it directly links to this fork creation. And if we have a look at this grants program repository, right, we can see that there were tons of pull requests already. So we had over 2,500 pull requests. I think we probably supported around how many? Probably close to 700 grants throughout the last couple of years. And here, yeah, you can see all the open ones, you can see all the closed ones, and maybe let's go to one that was approved. So, by the way, 2,500 doesn't mean that each of them is a grant application. Sometimes it's also amendments, or sometimes the people they reapply, right? So, yeah, well, let's take this one for example. Seems like this was a grant application, and so here we can see they created this application document. So this is a copy of the template, right? Where you will put your name, you will put the level, so that the level corresponds to the amount that you want to get, and you will put the overview and project details for your project, about giving more information what you want to do and why and how it fits with the ecosystem and how it provides value to the ecosystem. And then here is also a section where you can introduce a team and kind of show the track record that the team has. And then there's the roadmap, what you're planning to do in the future. And most importantly, here are going to be the milestones, where you are supposed to break down all the milestones into deliveries and into the deliverables. So usually some coding modules, right? And then usually also a Docker file that makes it easier to test and to run the whole infrastructure. Also, of course, if your project consists of multiple services, then this is especially useful. But also for kind of version mismatches and stuff like that, yeah, we usually require a Docker file or Docker Compose file to be part of it. Yeah, and like you will have to provide some documentation and testing guide for us to evaluate once you deliver it, but also for any other people who might want to use your software, right? Because all of this is open source. And yeah, so once you fork the repository and once you copy the application template into your own project, then you will open our pull request pretty much like here, and yeah, and here you can see they fill all the information. And what will happen next? We will see it in the pull requests showing up, which is we're of course monitoring this, and then we're going to ask some questions, right? And so we're gonna review it. Usually there are some questions that because almost no one will create the perfect grant application from the first attempt. So then there are gonna be some questions, some back and forth, and then eventually, ideally, it's going to be accepted. And I mentioned the levels before, right? So there is a level 1, 2, and 3 grant that you can choose from, and the level 1 grants they go for up to 10K US. The level 2 grants for up to 30K US dollars, and level 3 is basically unlimited. But usually, most of the grants that we get are somewhat in the like 20 to 50K range. And for first comers, so teams that never contributed before, we would expect them to apply as a level 1 or level 2 grant. And for recurring teams that already have proven that they can deliver well and they want to do something else or build on top of what they delivered before, it can also be a level 3. Yeah. Yeah, and then actually this is a very good example because here we also have somebody that is kind of from outside. So here Karim also contributed to the discussion. Yeah, this one is actually a quite long discussion, but wait, let me go back here. We can see it's a level 2 grant. So level 2 means you require 3 approvals from the grant committee. So here we can see 1, 2, and then here the third, right? And then once you get the amount of approval that you need, then it will be merged. And then by merging the application document, it means that your application has been successfully accepted. So that means you can then start working on the grant. And once you're ready, you can start delivering your milestones one by one. Maybe something also to be aware of. So this amount here, it's not paid fully in fiat. It's gonna be paid 50%, up to 50% in stable coins and at least 50% in vested dot. Yeah, and the dot is vested linearly, I think throughout 2 years. Yeah. So much about this program. This is our longest standing program. It's, as I mentioned, it's only for open source projects. And it yeah, and it's complemented by the Founders Grants program that is a smaller but more focused program for early stage kind of startups, right? And so those projects have to be commercializable. There needs to be some kind of investment thesis because the goal for these kind of projects is to then grow and being accelerated and then hopefully being invested in. And this program currently is not public, so you have to go through one of our partners, with OpenGuild being one of them. So if you're already in touch with OpenGuild, you can talk to them, and if they think, if they like the idea and the proposal, then you can submit it, right? And then we're gonna review it. So this is more of a program that has a different focus, and the grant sizes are smaller. So currently it's up to 20K, also with the same rule, up to 50% stables and the other 50% in vested dot. But yeah, you can get that information from OpenGuild. And the reason why currently it's not public is because we trust these partners and to make a good selection, like a good pre-filtering, so that reduces the amount of time needed on our side to review those applications. And that's why, yeah, that's how we work with that program. So those are the two main programs that we currently provide. And we also do strategic partnerships, but that's more for like mature kind of projects. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have.
I think like the process is quite clear now. So my questions would be like, from your perspective, like what are like the most urgent gaps in the Polkadot ecosystem that Web3 Foundation is actively looking to fill with like the rent right now? So to simplify the questions would be like, if I'm the applicant, like how can I find the ideas that can be beneficial to the Polkadot ecosystem, and then that I can like ensure that I can get the rent? Yeah.
Yeah, unsure. I mean, unsure is a strong word, right? You can never be certain. So there are no certainties, there are only probabilities. It's like what some people say. But anyway, so regarding focus, of course, right now with the hub launch that Daniel already talked about, being in the kind of in the pipeline and up and coming, we are going to be a very accommodative to even kind of projects as well. But now we're not there yet. So first, yeah, well, we need some more time because this first has to launch, and we want to launch a minimal viable ecosystem with all the DeFi and other kind of primitives and basic applications and tooling that is needed for Ethereum native or EVM developers to like frictionless work, right? And once that is given, and once we achieve that, then we're gonna be more accommodative also to smaller builders launching their projects and with the support of us. So that's something that we're still working on, but we cannot provide it yet. As I said, then when it comes to non-EVM stuff, then of course runtimes. If you have like a great idea for a parachain or roll up, how people call it nowadays, then you're welcome to apply. And by the way, open source doesn't mean that it has to be common good. So we can also not invest, but we can also give grants to commercializable projects through the open source grants. But it's not a requirement, right? The requirement there is it has to be open source, but it can be commercializable, or it can be more like common good or tooling kind of project, right? So we also believe that usually the devs they are in a better kind of situation to see the technical gap. So when it comes to tooling, then usually the devs they have a better idea of what's missing, or in many cases, or more niche kind of ideas what's missing, because they probably tried to do something and then they felt like, oh, this is not even possible, or maybe it's very difficult to achieve. So maybe that's why we need a certain library or a certain tooling, and then they can come to us, of course. Yes, we also have RFPs, but currently we don't have that many, to be honest. Let me check. No, currently. Yeah, we should probably work on that as well and have more RFPs for teams to apply. So currently the teams that apply, they're not applying to any RFPs. They bring their own ideas. Yeah.
So how closely are rent like tied to the long-term Polkadot roadmap and opportunistic innovations? So let's say like if I apply the rent, right at this moment it can be a valid idea for the Polkadot ecosystem, but then like in the next 6 months it's no longer a valid idea. How the gains gonna work?
So you mean that's gonna be a project that is only gonna deliver value in the very short term? Is
Yeah,
that what
I mean, like, for
or
example, like in
do you
Polkadot
mean?
right now, we have a lot of innovations, a lot of changes, like Polkadot Hub, Polkadot 2.0, a lot of things, and
Yeah.
also the change. We don't know like what like is gonna happen in the next 6 months, in the next year. So, like, how closely are Ren like tied to the Polkadot roadmap? Yeah.
I mean, we right now we're in the now and not in 6 months. So we of course, yeah, we have some plans and the roadmap, but we don't know how it will evolve within the next 6 months, right? We can never be sure. So if somebody applies and they make a case that the project that they want to work on actually delivers value to the Polka ecosystem and is very relevant and solves a very important problem, then it doesn't matter if it solves it in the now or somewhen in the future, as long as like we have some kind of confidence that that this is going to be a problem in the future. But yeah, in general, we look at it from a lens of how does it bring value to the ecosystem and what problem does it solve. And the problem can be a technical problem. It can be like a gap, like a tooling gap that needs to be filled, but it can also be a commercializable project. So maybe you have a great idea, maybe you already have some like some commitments from other projects in the ecosystem or even outside of the ecosystem, maybe from some Web2 companies or where whatever. It depends, of course, on the nature of the project. But yeah, if you can make a case that your idea is going to work and you even have your first customers or partnerships, then this will, of course, strengthen your case. Because a lot of people have great ideas, but they don't really have a plan how to actually get the users, right? And usually, also for us, it's sometimes difficult to judge. But if we see, hey, actually this project is backed, or not, maybe not backed, but a lot of other projects think this is useful, then we are also more likely to accept it, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna talk a bit about like post-grant success tracking. Like, as the ecosystem success manager, what is it like the key, like I say, like the key criteria or like the key points that that you're gonna base on when you measure the long-term success of the funded project, aside from all the milestone completions. Like, I think you mentioned something about like partnerships, go-to-market strategy, but I think like, can you be more specific about that?
So these programs are very much technical, right? So we usually make the decision whether we want to support it from a technical and non-technical point of view. But then once they deliver it, we mostly rate or rate the technical aspects of it, because that's what they deliver, right? It's very difficult to judge how it will be or to foresee how it will be adopted in the future, because it's just being built at that time when we are in touch with them, right, through the program, through the grants program. So we try to measure what we can, and that's mostly the technical aspects. And then once the grant is delivered, is fully completed, then we're gonna identify which of the projects have a high potential, which of them have a high quality, and then we try to prioritize where the support should go. And of course, if you have a more high potential project and more a project that is very strong from a technical point of view as well, then you're more likely to get kind of support, right? And on the support side, so this is still very early, so I cannot really commit to anything at this point. But what we're exploring, just to give you an idea, is support in terms of marketing, in terms of community building, in terms of go-to-market strategy, maybe even in terms of acceleration, funding guidance, these kind of things, right? We try to figure out what the teams need. This is where we are now, and then we support them through our programs or through partnerships. Yeah. You're muted. Tin, you're muted.
Yeah, so that's for like how the rent can be accepted and a few criteria for it. How about like after the rent is already accepted and they already like deliver some milestone? Are there any like kind of support, mentorship, and networking opportunities that Web3 Foundation gonna provide to the rent applicant? Yeah.
Very good question. So usually, no, there is definitely no support from us. We don't have the capacity to do that. So in grants, we mostly focus on the funding aspect, and we evaluate once they deliver, of course, to make sure that the resources go to the projects that do a good job and actually deliver. When it comes to tech support, the Polkadot ecosystem has different like support programs, right? I think you also do a good job in that sense. But there are various teams that can provide support. but it's not going to be our team, right? That's not our focus. Yeah. And yeah, I think does this answer the question?
Yeah, that's the questions. So
Okay.
to summarize, like right now, there's no proper, I guess like there's no proper way from like Web3 Foundation to support the project that already accepted. We got like the rent, right? But like there's also like various teams, various organizations. For example, like OpenGuild also like provide support
Right.
aside from the rent. Okay.
Yes, correct.
From like
Maybe
sorry.
just to mention, so we do have a support team at the Web3 Foundation, but usually the the customers, customers would not be our grant project. So the clientele is usually different, but yeah, we do have a support program, and yeah, if there is like some kind of issue they can solve and they're focused on, then we're of course happy to help. But they're not like DevRel kind of support, right? I think you're talking more about DevRel, right?
Yeah, I think like DevRels or like incubator programs also like something like similar to this. So when I research, just for more insight, like when I research like a few other Web2 like incubator accelerator programs, aside from the rent or aside from like the VC investment, also like, receive like the networking, the support from like companies that partner with that program that they're gonna
Mm.
provide with, for example, the free credit to keep growing your services, or like they provide you some human resources to allow you like to partner or also like connect with like others people related to your project. For example, like some people that have connections with like other VC or like have a connection with other organization that can support you to grow the project. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay. Yeah,
uh,
that goes into the direction of funding guidance, right? I think I mentioned that earlier that we are planning to have a more extensive support for these kind of things like go-to-market strategy, marketing, community building, maybe even BD, and also funding support. And that also includes um, connecting the founders with VCs where we see a good fit. So the VC part, we already do it, but the other things, they're more like, still very early because we want to target the resources there where they're needed first. So it's kind of a step-by-step approach. And once we have a high confidence that that's the like one of the areas that we need to provide strong support to the teams, then we're gonna start preparing a solution for that. When it comes to acceleration, we actually had a acceleration cohort. When was that? Probably like half a year ago, where we did not us, but we worked with an external accelerator at the time, and we accelerated a couple of projects. So right now we're taking the learnings from that to see whether we can do an additional cohort and what we can improve, what went good, and what where we can still improve. So that's also something that is being done independent of this incubation efforts that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
mm. I know the questions. I think like community members also interested to hear is what is like the current return on investments of the Web3 Foundation grants, and also like do you keep track of like project that's still like building the open source project after all the milestone, and also like how many projects they already like abandon the project after all the milestone?
Yeah, okay. So, what was the first question? I think it was three questions.
Yeah,
First question.
it's the ROI, like the return on investment of the
Ah,
web.
yeah, right. All right, right. So, I mean, it's grants. We don't invest into these projects, right? So we give them the money, and then a lot of the projects are actually related to tooling and related to like more common good kind of things. So there, it's very difficult to measure how much is the value, right? Like how do you calculate that? maybe you calculate by the number of devs, but then to the devs, maybe, I mean, how big of a pain is being solved? Like it's so difficult, right? We don't really have any way of measuring the success or like to quantify the success of these kind of projects in a standardized way. Then when it comes to the more commercializable projects that can raise money, they can scale up and stuff. For these projects, there would probably be a way to define some metrics. For example, we could say, hey, how much is the market cap if it's a token, or how much is a TVL if it's like a DeFi protocol, or how much is the revenue if it's a more traditional business that is just using blockchain somewhere in the background, right? So we could model that somehow, but that's not currently being done. But what I can say is that most of the parachains, the vast majority of the parachains that we currently have and also had in the past, they were actually backed, or they at least got an application approved at the Web3 Foundation grants program. And most of them, they also delivered at least one milestone or even all milestones. Some of them, then they only delivered one or maybe two, and then maybe they raised so much money that it didn't matter anymore to finish the milestone 3 if they have 3, for example. So we see that as well, but definitely most of the parachains they went through us. So yeah, there's that. And then what was the third question?
The third question is like, do you keep track of number of active dApps and also not like active dApps, but like active projects after all the milestone, and also like project after the milestone?
Yeah. We actually do. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna find it. So we have this open source tech stack page where we kind of keep, sorry for that, where we kind of keep track of all the open source projects that we supported in the past. Where is it? Here. So it's in the Polkadot wiki. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. I grew too old, I guess. Here. So if you go to wiki.polkadot.com and then you type open source Polkadot stack into the search function, then you're gonna find it. Let me share my screen again. Yeah, that's the one. So here you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay. So here you can see a lot of tools that, well, most of them went through our program. It's not necessarily the case. I'm not sure what exactly the requirement is, like how many months. I think it's like 1 or 2 months, something like that. If there have been any commits during a certain time period, then it means it's actively maintained. Yeah, 1 month, right? Green means there are commits within 1 month. Stale means no activity for 1 month, and then unmaintained is defined as no activity for more than 3 months, right? So you can see, that there are a lot of projects that are still active, and some of them are like stale, so maybe they're just slower in committing. But yeah, some also they actually are inactive. Like for example, this section here, everything is inactive, right? Yeah, so this gives you an idea of which ones are active and which ones are not. And actually, it's also a good resource if you if you need something, you know, you are coding something and you want to use a library or something, then you can come here and see if you find something. Like if you want to know which wallets you can use, then you can see, okay, there's Multics, there's Talisman, uh, there is, okay, sub wallet is not here because it didn't go through here, but yeah, gives you an idea of what kind of tooling is supported and still like, yeah.
Are these status like updated by a script or
Yeah, that's automated. Yeah,
uh,
like every day or something like that. The bot goes and checks all the GitHub repositories, and then it updates the status.
really cool. Okay. All right.
And I think you mentioned numbers of devs as well. So we don't directly keep track of that, but there's this what was how were they called? There's this webpage where you can see the Web3 devs for different ecosystems. And they also have a section for Polkadot.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah,
my question is
you
more
know.
active dev from the project that got the ranks. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. I think that then the page I showed just now, that's closer to answering your question then.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's answer my questions. Right. Yeah, as we come close to the end of the community call, Angela would love to ask like what's your expectation for the project at the current state of Polkadot? Like I think that we mentioned something in the beginning of the community call, but maybe we can be more specific here. So like what kind of things like from your personal view that you would love to see, and also like what your expectation for the project after they receive the rents, how they gonna like build the project to bring like the good benefit to the Polkadot ecosystem.
Yeah, maybe I can talk about the kind of projects that we really like to see. So on one hand, it's those EVM kind of, so that's not really for the grants program, but we made a lot of strategic agreements with these EVM mature EVM projects. You know, I have to be careful which one I can say and which one not. I'll better don't name anything. But yeah, some of the, like, let's say block explorers, oracles, DeFi dApps, these kind of things that we're focusing, or the BD people are focusing on. And then on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, in a couple of months, once everything is ready, we're also going to be more accommodated to EVM applications that build on top of or in relation to all that stuff that is going to be there. And then another focus is also more kind of mature Web2 projects that want to go on chain, because that's also a big trend. And a lot of these companies, they have a lot of revenue already, so they look for a partner to come on chain. A lot of them, they want to have their own chain, their own layer one. So I think that's where Polkadot can provide a very good solution, because we have the cheapest and most performant roll-up infrastructure in the whole space. And yeah, and usually these kind of projects, they bring their own communities already, so it's easier for them to be successful, because they don't have to start from scratch, bootstrapping the community. Because if we are realistic and honest, it is a truth that ecosystems like Solana, they just have more users than Polkadot, right? So for mature kind of projects that already have their user bases, it's much easier to be successful on Polkadot. So that's why we think it's a good match. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Thank you a lot for those insights. And I think like we already like come close to the community goal. And again, like really happy to have you here to share about like the Web3 Foundation brand. And then hopefully after the community goal, there's gonna be like more people, they understand like how the brand work and they're gonna apply to the rent and to build like raise applications on Polkadot. And we as OpenGuild, we're also like definitely gonna encourage people and also like find more dev to also like apply to the rent. And again, yeah, thank you, Seraya, for like joining our community call. And hope that we're gonna also like have a few more interesting call, not only about the rent, but also about like Polkadot in general in the near futures. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Again, call.
sure. Maybe one more thing. Of course, you can just apply there on grants.web3.foundation. If you need any preliminary feedback, you can also shoot us a mail to grants@web3 Foundation, the email address, or you can also DM me. I think my handle is linked in the community call post. So my DMs are open on X, so you can also DM me there if you need any feedback.
Yeah, thank you. All right, and also again, yeah, thank you. And that's the end of the community call. Yeah, see you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.